So I hope you had a good lunch. And next session is going to speak about SQL securities in Microsoft Fabric, a beginner's guide to protect your data. And the speaker here, Aditya Kumar, and he's a lead Azure SQL developer and also Microsoft certified. So Aditya, a warm welcome to you. And please start. Yes, I'm able to share your screen as well. And can you please unmute?
Yeah, hi.
Able to hear? Okay, then I'm
Yes.
handing over the stage to you. So please go ahead, proceed, and let's see. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Hi all. Hope you had a good lunch and everybody is pumped up again back with full energy. So I don't make you sleep. I'll try to cover as much as possible. So yeah, shall we start with the slide deck?
Yes, please.
So yeah, today we are covering about securing your SQL database in Microsoft Fabric. Like as of now, the SQL Server database is in Microsoft Fabric is in preview. So most of the organizations are using it for doing POC purpose, and I am also working in one of our my project where we are moving the data and creating databases in Microsoft Fabric. So security is the main concern which clients are requesting. So I just want to make this session for the beginners who want to understand about the security principles and everything. So this is my LinkedIn ID. If you want, you can connect with me on this. So you can take a screenshot, or else like after that, Rajendra will share these things. So we'll quickly jump to agenda part. So today we are covering. We are covering about Microsoft Fabric overview. Like I know a couple of persons already given this, but I'll just try to close this slide very fast. And we will see the main thing, architectural and security models to understand how Fabric is giving security in terms of REST and transit as well, and what kind of authentication and access control rules we have. So, and we'll implement that in our demo, and we'll just discuss brief about Microsoft Purview, but there's no demo for it, so that we can understand Purview, how it is encouraging the security in Microsoft Fabric and all. And I'll give a demo session on the SQL database creation and number of roles and everything, and then we'll start seeing the things. So upcoming events and futures and whatnot, like, and I'll leave the floor to you so that you can ask any questions to me and we can just quickly answer them. Yeah. So what is Microsoft Fabric? As of now, everybody explained it to you, right? So can someone share this in our chat? Like, and how many of you are currently working with Microsoft Fabric? Is anybody back online? Like, if you are, so you can just say what exactly you feel it's Microsoft Fabric is, and anybody is using it. Right. So Microsoft Fabric is so one-stop solution, as Balkrishna mentioned. So it is a unified platform. So it gave platform for all the engineering teams, data science teams, machine learning, and now the database teams also joined there, and we all together can work in a single environment. Like what traditionally people are doing it, we have SQL Server in one machine where we have a Windows machine, and there you have to install your SQL Server and you have to get the data from there to traditional models. But now with Fabric, you can have the SQL Server database itself in Microsoft Fabric environment along with the data warehousing and all other stuff. Like you can create artifacts and everything, right? So along with that, you have the SQL database also. Nice, nice. I see Varshney is working on Fabric. And yeah, so it is a unified platform, and as I mentioned, so it seamlessly connects with the Microsoft Azure ecosystem. So previously, as it is built on Microsoft or vendor, right? So it connects seamlessly. Like you don't need to struggle a lot to connect everything. So you can directly it flows like anything, and you can deliver end-to-end solutions from inserts to ingestion to insights. What does this mean? So previously, when we in traditional systems, generally we'll get data from some other source, and we need to dump it to data warehouse in some other machine. They do transformations, and from there you have Power BI, Tableau in some other machine. So you have to collaborate and stitch all these things to get the insights to the external users. So it is hectic, like, and multiple teams involved, like data engineering, database team, and platform Power BI team, like business intelligence team. So there are multiple teams involved with multiple traditional way of working it. Now with Microsoft Fabric, you have end-to-end solution, like you from ingestion to the insights, like you ingest it to SQL database, or else you have a data lake, and you have data warehousing, and you can do all sort of stuff, right? Now we'll move to the core components of it. So the core components, what we see is one data factory, data engineering and data warehouse, data science, real-time intelligence, databases, industry solutions, Power BI, and Purview. This is one of the security things which we are going to talk about today, and Copilot and OneLake. So I hope everybody knows what exactly these things are, but I'll just give you a brief, like data factory, where you can orchestrate and automate the data movement and transformations. And data engineering, you can build, manage scalable data pipelines. Like you can build the pipelines, like you get the data, you transform it, and you do some triggers so that it will give the mail alerts and everything. So data warehouse. So you have data warehouse. So you have the modern scalable and cloud data warehousing thing apart from the traditional data warehousing. So you can do that. Data science, you have the AI and ML component, so you can train more models, you can do the pattern recognition and everything. So using the data sciences and real-time intelligence. So you can get the data second by second from IoT sensors and everything. So you can see the live cricket score kind of thing. So whatever it is happening on the pitch, it is getting reflected on the scoreboard and in the screens in front of you, right? So that kind of level we are having is, and databases, we have robust data storage and transactional workloads. As of now, it is in preview, not for production yet. But yeah, we can use this as database for OLTP kind of thing. And industry solutions, you have a tailor-made solutions. Like for example, you are preparing for some of the HR kind of use case, and you already have it, so you can put it in marketplace and you can use it. Power BI, everybody knows. Like how many of you are working on Power BI? So majority, I hope majority of the people are working in Power. Sorry, so I just muted. Majority of you people are already working on Power BI, so you know how the reports got generated and everything. Uh, Give me a sec, 1 second. Yeah, sorry for that. I just got some. So yeah, Guru is working on Power BI, right? So Power BI is a platform where you can give insights to the users via dashboards and everything. So this is one of the major thing which is used by all of the companies. And Purview is centralized database governance and security. So Purview is used for governance and security, where we have multiple things. So you have DLP, and you have the policies, and you have the sensitivity labels across workspaces and tenant you can use, like your Outlook 365. These are all the major components, and this supporting layers one like is a unified data lake, right? So whatever your data is there, it will be stored in one lake. So you will have a single source of truth where you don't need to create duplicate copies. And Copilot, one quick question here for everyone. So how many of you know from which level of I mean, which capacity onwards the Copilot is being used, like it is available? Is it F2, F64, F1028? Can you drop a message in chat? Like if you know from which capacity level Copilot is available? F64? No? Anyone else? Yeah, now you start doing your research, like how. Copilot is available from which capacity levels. I'll answer it at my end. So the next slide. So now it comes to the SQL database in Microsoft Fabric. So in Microsoft Fabric, the SQL database is very simple, like the same as the traditional kind of database, but you don't have to have a SQL server installed on a Windows machine and everything. So you can just directly create the database and it will work on the fly. Like it creates everything and it will work on the fly. And it is autonomous. Like you can deploy in seconds. Like you don't need to wait for so many days to give the storage and so many configurations. I'll show how traditionally we'll create what settings we have, but here when we want to create a SQL database in Fabric, how we can create it. So you can understand better way. And it is integrated with Azure AI Fabric services. Like you can have the built-in vector and rack capacities with AI assisted. So this is the capability of SQL database in Microsoft Fabric, and it is powered by SQL anyway. You can use the T-SQL scripts like a warehouse, data warehouse, and you can write like how you do it in on-premise, and you can work on it. So next slide. So what exactly the security architecture of Microsoft Fabric? So every application or every application is having a security architecture, right? So how it transits, how it encrypts the data, what kind of security levels it is there in transit and in rest. Like for Microsoft Fabric also, we have security by default, and in all of the artifacts which is available on Microsoft Fabric from Lakehouse, Warehouse, databases, workspaces. So whatever it is there, so TLS 1.2 for all the connections, and it will be encrypted at rest, like whatever data it is at rest, like whatever you create, like house, warehouse and everything, it will be automatically encrypted. So it is protected across all data types, like whatever the data you are creating. And now comes to the SQL server, you have no SQL authentication. So you have the Entra ID to be connected, and it is a centralized identity management where you can create the accounts, and I'll show that in the coming demo, and you can see that as well, and supports MFA and passwordless options. So I'll show this as well. I hope everybody got Microsoft. I mean, once at least they have tried to log into the Microsoft Fabric, right? So if you tried that, then you know how exactly the MFA works. So you have to have the authenticator and everything that we'll go and see when we are doing it in demo. So this is having a two-layer security model. It comes to the SQL security in Fabric. One is workspace level roles where we have the broad level roles, and one is SQL native roles for granular control. So it is there in traditional as well, the same way it is there in Fabric SQL as well. And it comes with combined administration. So we can do both like on SQL level and the workspace level as well, or else you can combine both and give some kind of other custom roles. So question here before going to next slide, why? Because it will reveal the answer. What kind of workspace level roles Microsoft Fabric is having? Answers in the chat. Like if someone was like, Varshini is already working on Fabric, so she can answer. Correct. So admin, member, contributor, and viewer. So these are all the workspace level roles. It directly flows through all level in the workspace level. So when there is access on one of the workspaces in the tenant level, these level roles will be there. So you can have this one layer as this is the first layer of security model, and the other in SQL Server is SQL native level. So we'll see that as well in coming. Yeah. So this is the workspace level roles in Fabric. It gives the foundational layer, the first level of access control. So you can manage permissions across the workspace, and it is designed like there are four roles rails. It is designed for specific use cases like admin member. They can read data, write, reshare. I mean, it directly gets full database level management access as an administrator in SQL or Microsoft Fabric SQL. And contributor will have the read data and write, like if they want to do any kind of development, they can develop it and they can create the CI/CD pipelines and content creation and whatnot. Like viewer will have only read data. Here the catch is read data. It will give access to all sorts of schemas which is available in that particular database. So these are basically the reporting person, the business intelligence, whoever is using the Power BI or something, they want to get data from here. So these kind of things, and as you can see here, so you can see the access levels. So this is what the foundational level, the first level. So you have these four roles: admin, member, contributor, and viewer. And we'll go to the major difference. Now, the quick thing. So everybody see watching the slide, right? So admin and member is having the same level of access, like read data, write, reshare. So why we have two, uh, two roles with same level of access? What exactly the difference? Can someone say in the chat? So you see here admin member having almost or not almost everything is same. So read data, write and reshare. Right. Member will not be able to create. Member can create workspace if I give a member. So we'll see that in next line. Member can't delete, that is correct. So these are all the four workspace levels which we have, and all permission levels. So all permissions except the reshare one, which is this one. Uh, and read, this is the item level permissions in database. So sorry, this is the item level permissions. Read, we view database properties. If we have the admin access, he can do everything. If he's having only reader, read and read data. So read, if read is there, he can just view the database properties in portal, like basic. So read data, execute select queries, read all data using T-SQL. So we are just discussing here only about Microsoft Fabric SQL database, not other things. So how the workspace roles can give access to the item level, right? So right, you can have full admin permission like DDL, DML, and you can reshare permission if you have. They can share permissions with other users. Subscribes, you can subscribe to the events like whatever it is happening on the database level. You can have that and read all extended read capabilities. So we'll go to the next slide. So these are differences which we are discussing about, and there are few for admin and contributor I have shared. So admin can do all sort of workspace level permissions, user management, admin assigns lower permissions to others, reshare capabilities, and other things like workspace level, database level, and they can do the configuration changes and everything. They can see all sorts of dashboards. If I'm admin, I can see the capacity metrics. I can see all sorts of pipeline level activities. If any issues are there, I can see everything in SQL Server. He can have all the access. He can add, delete, admin level privileges and everything, right? So this is of till now we have discussed about workspace level roles, how that implies to the database in Fabric. So any I'll just stop here. I just want to check if any questions are there till now, or else just give a thumbs up if you want me to continue. No questions we'll have at end. If you have any questions, we can see, but you can drop your questions in the chat bar. Great. Now this is a native SQL access control. So now you have the admin, member, contributor, and the viewer level access at workspace level. It is directly implying the permissions to the SQL database, right? What exactly the native SQL controls, and if anybody is already working on SQL Server, as a DBA, I'm a DBA, so I know. So if anybody is already working, so they know how we can prevent the access in SQL Server, what kind of roles we have and everything. So Fabric gives the power of native SQL access control so that we can give a fine-grained security on schema level, table level, even row level. We have the RLS security, and it ensures the access is properly tailored. So if any finance person is there, so they want to modify their data in their table, so they'll have the exact level of access we'll give it, or else if they don't want, so if other persons are there, they don't want to see the data, so we can deny this permission. So precisely we can do every kind of mix and match, and we can give so that we can now get whatever required in the security level. So we can create custom rules, like we can define the permissions for specific schemas, and we can control the access that we will see in continue next demo. And we can use the native T-SQL commands here in Fabric SQL as well, and we can grant the permissions, we can execute the T-SQL queries and everything. As I mentioned, we have the row level security, we have the dynamic data masking and column level security as well in SQL Server level. So this is the layer two. First layer is what we discussed at workspace level, and the second layer is at SQL Server level. So why we have two layer of access? So this is second layer gives the permission within the database level so that you don't have whatever the access it is there, it carry forwarded and it can give. So these are all the things which we discussed. And Fabric Portal, we have user friendly like in SQL Server. So if anybody worked on SQL Server, their DM is dynamic data masking. So that will be there. So Fabric UI, user friendly interface. So you have like SQL Server itself as SMS, you can do that. And T-SQL commands, we can do the traditional create, grant, revoke, and deny permissions. So we discussed, right? So we have Purview in Microsoft Fabric for security. So it is not only for SQL database, but it is for across whatever the things which we create, right? Lakehouse, pipelines, and notebooks. So data legend tools. So whatever you create, you can assign the sensitivity labels like uh, whatever we do in Microsoft Office 365. We whenever if we are working in an organization, we know like we'll get a mail and do you see the sensitivity labels? This is confidential, this is highly confidential, and everything. Based on that, whether we can read or we can delete it or we can it is not related to us, then we can inform to security team. So now these confidentiality sensitivity labels they have given the same as Office 365 so that you can have the feeling of we know this. And protection policies, we can design the protection policies who can see it, who can not see this kind of information and everything. And data loss prevention, we have detection enforcement against the data like credit card information or anything so which we don't have to expose to the other people. So we have this, we can create it in Purview. And as of now, this in is licensed one, and we don't have access. So I just gave the brief introduction here as this is a beginner session. Next time, if I get time, I'll just try to share the entire session on Purview, how we can give the sensitivity labels across workspace level, not only in database level, and we'll see that. So sensitivity labels directly apply to the object, like you can just apply the label there. We need to create the labels in Purview first, and so that we can just apply there. And protection policies, you can just give the protection policies you can create, and you can just assign the label. So and we can give the access to specific users and everything. So if admin is there in sorry, if member or contributor or user access is there in workspace level, that might not and the follow through right to the SQL database level. So we can give that as well here. And as I mentioned, policies are there and data loss prevention policies. So now it can scan SQL, KQL, mirror database for sensitive information. What exactly mean? If customer information is there in a database like credit card information or or any other information which is related to, which is confidential and which is not supposed to expose to the external people. So these data loss prevention scans can help and give the details to us. Now we'll see the live demo. Uh, I'll stop here, and if you have any questions, we'll see. And what exactly we are going to see. So we create a database in Fabric, and we create a workspace, and we see how workspace level roles will look like in a database level, whatever we see in slides, and how we can give the granular level permissions and custom rules we can create, right? So these things we are going to see in Fabric right now. So everybody is able to see my screen, like Fabric portal now.
Yes, yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is exactly how it looks when you log into the Fabric. And this left pane gives all the details like workspaces, one like catalog monitoring, and all these things. And you have the other settings, so you can see the settings here as well for admin portal and everything. Now we are going to create a new workspace, right, for this, and I'll create TAG security, right? So you can describe anything here, but in organizations you have to it should be meaningful. And if your organization is having domains, you can give it here, and I can just quickly apply. I don't have any domains right now, and it is optional. So my workspace got created, right? So this is my account. If you see, so this is my account. This is having admin privileges, so I can create and everything. And now we'll create a database. So you just type SQL in the search box. You see there are different are there. So you can mirror the data from Azure to this one, and mirror Azure database, mirror managed instance, and mirror SQL server as well. You can replicate data from existing source, right? Like once you have data in your existing on-premise server, so you can get that data, or else you can just directly create a new database. Just click on SQL database. Now, in native in traditional SQL Server. So this is my SQL Server 2025. So if I want to create any new database, right? So I click. I'm just showing the difference, like what exactly we have in Fabric and native. It is taking time. So in the meantime, so anybody's previously created SQL databases or anybody working as a DBA or any kind of roles which you did like accidental DBA. You are a developer as well as DBA. You create database schemas and everything. Because I in the initial career of mine, I have did that. So I'm just checking like, so if I guess it opened somewhere. Okay, so it opened there. It opened on the back, and that is the reason I'm not able to see here. So yeah, so if I want to create the same demo database, right? So you see here, you have to give the path and you have to give the growth settings and initial size, what exactly required, where exactly it needs to store, and you have to give all other options like the collation, what exactly the recovery model is required and indexes. These many parameters are there which needs to be taken care, and file groups. If you want to create any file groups and everything, you have to give all those things when you are doing it in production. So when you are doing it in production, you have to take care of all these things and work on it when you are creating it. For example, if I want to change anything like auto sync, update stacks, so these kind of things I need to take care of it. And moreover, you have to see these things, right? So where exactly it is creating auto growth settings and everything. Now I'm just creating the database in uh, Fabric, right? So you can see now it. Reading, so just it is a new database name. I'm just giving the name. So I click create. You don't see any other option, any other setting. You don't need to give anything, but it automatically takes care at the back end. So this deploys in seconds, right? Whatever we see in the slide. So this is what it means. So now my database is created. So whatever we see here in the slide, so it is simple and it deploys in seconds. Auto scale, compute and storage, you don't need to manage anything, and you have auto managed HADR, optimized performance and everything, right? So these things, the other settings which I'm talking about here, you don't need to take care of these things. So this will be taken care by Fabric itself. So now I have my database. So by default, you have a DBO schema. In traditional, you don't see anything. But when you start working on it, so you will see one other table. I didn't created any table here as of now. When you start working, it will create a table, default table here, so you can see. And now, if I go to my diag workspace and if I see, I'm only admin, right? So this is the only account which I have. Now, if you want to add, so I'll add different users here. So I guess I have test user. Yeah, test user. Okay. Yeah, I can add this test user here as a viewer, right? So I have given, and you go back and see here you have a test user and finance. I guess I have one. Give me a sec. I'll just check my. So this is where you create your Entra ID. So I have my finance team account and test user I have just given. So I'll just quickly add this user as well. So finance team, okay, this is it. Finance teams, you see once the Entra ID is created there, it directly gets here. So I just want to give it as member and add. So this is how you add your role, security role. So whenever you in the organization, this is you think of it as a practical way. So when someone is asking, not only for uh, not only for not only for this SQL database access, but any access, like this is at workspace level. When you see, this is not at database level I am giving. This is at workspace level which I created. So this workspace level on any new item you create, so you will have these roles will be underlying where it goes, it flows, right? So you have to have that in mind. And I'll create one more user. So app reader, I'll just, or else I'll just add my existing one. Right, so this is not the one. Yeah, so this one I'll add it as a contributor. Okay, I'm already admin, so one more I have to take. And I'll take this one. Now Microsoft account only. Now this one I'll add as contributor. So now you see you can manage from here, and if I want to change this test user to contributor, I can do that. And if you want to quickly check, you can check. So it is there, you can add change anytime from here. And if I want to change it back, I can do that. If I want to remove it, I can remove from here. So you have all the feasibility of doing this at single pane, right? It gives more feasibility. Now I created the database. Now workspace roles are there. I just created an empty database. I don't have anything, right? I don't have anything created here. Still, uh, if I want to access my database, right? If I want to execute a query, now I'm currently with my account. So can I execute or not? Anybody quickly? Now I'm trying to connect to my database. And if I want to execute this some query, right? So if I want to execute select, I mean, if I so now I'll just quickly go back and uh, see. I'll just quickly go back and upload the data, right? So I'm just sample data. I'm uploading it. I don't have anything which is ready-made available. I mean, in organizations are doing it, and you can get data from these many ways, like data flow gen to pipelines, T-SQL, and you can give the connect to the database from external sources, right? So you can do all these things. But yeah, currently I am just trying to upload, and once this is uploaded, you will see here. Okay, you can see here once this is done, and you can it is there and it is getting imported in the meantime. So you can see this top pen, right? Whatever we discussed in our slide, SQL slide. So this is the refresh, just a refresh button. You know everything. Like this, in this settings button, you can just check these things. So this is all about the database information, which is kind of similar to the properties which we see here, right? So the same way, the traditional way is properties we see here. The same way it is just like the created by, owned by, and whoever it is there. You can check. And this is the connection string. So you see this is the connection string which I get. So you can connect to SQL Server. I'll show in few minutes how we can connect using this information in SSMS. So these are all other things are there, JDBC, ODBC, and if you are working with PHP and Go, so these things you can take it, and you need to have the ODBC 18 driver to be installed when you are working with SQL Server and everything. So these things are common, so you need to see. And you have the backup retention policy for the databases, and Copilot is available, but you need to have the admin privileges, and we need to have the capacity available. Now this is trial capacity. Now I'll quickly now see, as I mentioned in DBO, there are no tables. It creates the standard table. This is automatically created. So it gives the database version, date, and modified, right? So now I have my tables here, right? So I am admin. So if I want to execute any queries here, I can do that. I can see all of the information, right? This is at admin level. Now, if I want to add, so first we discussed, right, in workspace level, whatever the rules we have, it will carry forward to the database level. So we'll see what exactly it is carry forwarded, right? So I have four users. So finance, so these guys workspace admin. So read, write, reshare, read data and everything. So these two we discussed like member and contribute, I mean admin. And now contributor will not have only the reshare option, but remaining all contributor will have. And this user which I created as a viewer, he is having the read data, right? This is clear, right? So we whatever the data, whatever the roles we have in workspace level, that directly gets to the SQL Server level, and you can see in SQL Server accesses as well. Now, if I want to execute anything as some other user, so we'll try to connect with viewer level permissions and see how exactly he can uh, connect to the database and see, right? So now we have admin level privileges. So I'll just try to connect with my account in the SSMS, and I'll show you how reader level access will work in SSMS, right? So you can just directly click here and open SSMS. It gives the details, like you can just copy and paste like whatever we discussed previously and the work level. So that will be carry forwarded here. So I'll just give connect and I just paste it here. I need to select the MFA and I need to give the username. So I'll just give my username. So this is my username. Okay. I need to give this here. I'll just close this properties. So this is the user account and I need to give the database name. So it is already given. So if you click directly open, it will open directly as well. But I'm just right. So just connect. Now it will ask like this, security. You need to enter your password and it connects. See, this is how you can use your database in SSMS. Like so everybody is familiar with using SSMS, right? SQL Server Management Studio. So Fabric has kept that in mind and they have given to connect like this as well. So now if I want to run anything or I'm admin, right? I can create tables, right? So if I want to create any table, table lt dot managers if I want to create. So if I want to create this kind of table, we can create tables as well. Yeah, just a second. So I can create tables as well, and I can execute select statements. I can create everything, right? And now I'll try to log in with my viewer level access and see whether we can do it or not. Give me a second. Sorry, I'm on mute. Sorry. Now I have my test user created here. So test user is there. So he is having only read access on my portal. If you see, so I can just run only read queries from here, right? So test user is having read out read data. So I can only run read queries here. So if I want to check anything, any of the schemas, I can do it, right? Next we will see we can give access only on sales schema and debo, what we discussed, right? Custom level role. So this custom level roles will create in Fabric portal and we'll see, right? I'll just uh, create the custom level in front of you. So now we have our we are going to create one user in my Azure portal, right? And we just see how we need to do the external user adding to uh, user adding to the Fabric portal, and we see how we can just create things, right? So now we are in our Fabric portal, sorry, Azure portal. Now I am creating a new user.
Sorry, Aditya, your screen is not visible.
Is it? Give me a sec. Uh, Now,
Yes.
okay. So now I'll create a custom user, right? Uh, we'll create DAG user. Okay. So I just need to give the display name. So this is how we create Entra IDs. Like generally we give, there are so much information. I'm not taking everything here. I'll just create the one. We can get the auto-generated password or else we can create it. I don't want to use it for now, auto-generated. So I'll just create one here, right? I just created one user, tag user, so you can see it here. Now we'll how we can add this here. I'll just see. So in this, so in security principles, you go. So you when you are adding it here, right? So now you see in workspace level we have only four users: Aditya, finance, and these four. Right? They have the different roles: contributor, member, and everything. Now I am now that roles flow here, right? So now if I want to give any permission, right? So now I'll create one custom role here, right? So you go to security, manage. From here you can create like whatever I told, right? So DB owner, DB reader, DB writer, and DDL admin. The same concept will be here when you see any kind of uh, database level roles in security, right? So when you sorry, this is not the one. So when you go to logins and if you see any of this login, right? So I'll just quickly want to show you the roles of the traditional and everything. So these are server roles, leave it like database level roles. You see the same way. So if I click on one of the database, so you see DB reader, writer, DDL admin, owner. So remaining we can do explicitly as well via T-SQL there. So the same things are there in SQL, Azure SQL, sorry, Fabric SQL as well, right? So now I'll create a custom role. I just want to read custom role DAG reader. I'm just creating DAG reader and I want to read only select permissions, right, on this database like sales only. Okay, I just give this reader is there. Now I created a custom role. What exactly this custom role is having? He can read only sales related schemas only, not DBO related, right? So I just add a user here. So now we created a DAG user, right? So DAG user is there, which we recently created. So I'll just quickly add it here, add, and you see this option, create user, user groups and everything. So this shared database permission, external users, whoever you want to add it, you can add it. It gives you need to externally share, but you don't see this thing which is already there as a workspace level roles. When you are adding external users which are not available in the workspace or tenant level, so you have to share the database, right? Now if I want to connect with this DAG user, right? So if now I'm not sharing the database, just to showcase you, I'll just save here, right? And I want to connect with my DAG user, right? So I just copied. He is not able to, he should not be able to connect to it, right? Now, so if I can somebody tell me if I directly, right? So if somebody can tell me, previously I gave the password and I directly connected, right? The same thing happens now, or else do I need to do anything extra here? I created for the first time user. This is as part of security which we discussed previously. So MFA passwordless kind of things, right? So here you need to change the password. This is the first step whenever newly created ones. And if it is auto generated as well, that is fine. You can just share it with the person and they need to do this exercise when they want to connect to it. Now you are creating the MFA. So you have to have your authenticator, and this everyone knows, uh, right? Like whenever you try to connect with Microsoft Fabric account which created in to perform exercises and everything, right? So you have to follow the same process. You have to do these steps. Now my authenticator approved. So this is one level of again access. I'm a security principal, so I know what happens. So this login is already added to the database. If you see in my Fabric, so this user is already there. How we can ensure that this user is already there? You can go to the workspace, and if you go to the permissions, this user we added it here, but it is not showing here. Why? We didn't share it to the custom role. So I can see this DAG user, right? So this DAG user is there in the database level, but he is not able to connect and see. So you have to share this one. Now, when I share it, right? I just quickly want to say, when I share it, does this person gets all permissions like this, like the viewer permissions? Why? Because we are seeing, right? So can does this person gets read data or else only read when I share? Let's see what happens, what it gives. So when I sorry, so you go to manage principal, select this custom role which is having only access to sales schema. So when you share this database, right? Now we see what exactly it is showing in the database level. It is only read, not read data. So you can just connect to the database and see. And we have allocated the custom level role as only he can connect to the database. Sorry, he can connect to the database. So now if I go and try to connect to it after sharing, previously the user is already there in database but not shared. But after sharing, if you want to connect to it, it connects like that is just after sharing why it is connected. He is external user. He is not at the workspace level, right? And he don't want. He's not in the. He's not shared previously. After sharing, he connect. Now he is having read data kind of thing, right? Only sales. Only sales tables he can do. Now we'll see. Uh, I'll just try to run few select queries. Sales LT dot address, right? Now if I want to execute, he is able to execute it, right? Now if I want to update the same, like for example, if I want to update, uh, let's see, one customer ID. Okay, this is an address column. We'll see customer table. So now we'll see this middle name is N, right? We'll try to update middle name to J or something. So as he is having only reader access, he can't modify, right? So we'll see how it works. Now if I want to update, it shouldn't. Why? Because he is having only reader level access and we gave it on sales. Now someone tell me, so this is a database level, right? I see these tables are there. Now someone tell me, can I run query on this one? dbo.build version using the tag user. Sorry, not sales. We'll just drag and drop this one here. It comes. So can I execute this with the user which we created, tag user? He's having read access, right? Let's see. He's not having permission. Why? Why? Because we have created this tag user in the database level, but for the schema, what schema we have provided access for this tag user? So if I edit this, he's having only select on sales. Now if I give access to this one, right, and if I see this tag user is already there, now if I go ahead and quickly refresh this, you see he's getting the database DBO version or something. So now you see you can just execute. So this is the way we can use custom level roles, and we can give the access. Like for example, sales data is storing on the same, and campaign data is storing on the same database and everything, and with different HR data. So you can just give the custom roles and create it apart from the workspace level roles, right? Go back to our demo details. Like, so we have created workspace SQL database, workspace level roles we assign, and item level permissions. We have given custom roles creation and security. Now, what exactly in it is there? So Fabric Copilot is uh, and security agents are getting it should be, and a real-time security. So we have the DLP, right, data loss protection. So this one, and they are getting row and column level security for Spark loads. And if someone is following me, so I have shared the private endpoints are getting public preview. So this is one thing. And SaaS tokens and Entra delegation settings are getting as part of security. This is for, as part of security only. And custom managed keys, workspace level, and using Azure Key Vault, we can do that. Preview Hub, Purview Hub enhancement. So you have the catalog audit capabilities, SQL Server audit capabilities. If someone said there is a DBA, Sanjay Kumar, right? So auditing capabilities you may know, and the same level of auditing capabilities we are getting it in Purview. And so here, apart as part of this session, Microsoft SQL Server Fabric database is only accepted by Entra IDs, no SQL authentication. In traditional SQL Server, you have your multi-mode authentication where you can create SQL accounts as well, and you can give Windows level admin access as well. But here we have to use only Entra authentication, Entra ID only, which is created in Azure portal. And multi-layer protection. We have the workspace level roles, which we discussed, admin member, contributor, and viewer. And SQL Server level granular, we have discussed like how we can create custom roles and give different permissions to different users, and how we can share the database who is not there in workspace level. And Purview, we have sensitivity labels, dynamic data masking, auditing futures, and data loss protection. These things are already there, and with AI and everything, right? So we have more control on what exactly we want to do on everything. So just a key takeaway step, like what I feel, I just want to share. I mean, we as a DBA, I worked with multiple clients with security issues. So what they did was they set up once and they felt like this is the only time we need to do. But security is not a one-time setup kind of thing. You have to have verify each and every time. Why? Because how we are increasing our security capabilities, the attackers are increasing in the same way. So we have to have the capabilities of defending that. And Microsoft is designed to make robust security by default, at rest, and at transit as well. And we have the compliance and governance with purview and everything. So as everyone is joined here, so please have this kind of thing in mind and discuss with teams. Now for the Q&A.
Yeah,
Now,
there are few questions in the chat window. Can you go through it or shall I read?
yeah, I'm just trying to see. Yeah. I just told dynamic data masking, Balakrishna, and any other thing. Admin gives access to new users. That is correct. Yeah, as Guru mentioned, while when we connecting to the new account, which is not part of workspace level, we have to have some extra steps so that we can create passwordless authentication and MFA. So you will get two-factor authentication to be precise. So passwordless authentication, that is fine. So you can just enter ID that you can connect, but two-factor authentication you have to have authenticator and approve that. So that is one thing. So any other questions? If anything, you can reach out to me in my LinkedIn, so which I shared. Yeah, Rajendra just shared, or else you can just scan it here as well. So you'll get my LinkedIn profile and you can just reach out to me directly.
Yeah, thank you, Aditya. Really an interesting session because as when we work with on-premises databases, so it's easy to has to handle the security and access related. But now, when we work with cloud, I think governance is major challenging part in the real-time projects. What we see, and it's interesting. You have compared both the things at each level. Really thankful session and valuable.
Yeah, thank you.